bookish friends! Thanks for stopping by my channel Lefty Reads. My name's Gabby and today I'm coming at you with some summer book recommendations. I've watched quite a few summer book recommendation videos and every time I tend to see the same authors and books and series coming up, so I wanted to talk to you today about my Underhyped summer book recommendations. These are just going to be some books that are lesser known, lesser talked about, but still fantastic. I'm going to start off with some magic realism books. And if I'm being honest, I'm horrible when it comes to genres, so if I get the genre wrong on these books, just don't judge me, please. The first magical realism book that I want to recommend to you this summer is Invisibility by Andrea Kramer and David Levithan. It has deckled edges, so of course you want to read it. This book is about Elizabeth and Stephen. Elizabeth just moved to New York with her mother and she wishes that she could blend in. Stephen, on the other hand, is actually invisible. But not to Elizabeth. Elizabeth can see him, and in the words of the flap summary, but as the two become closer, an invisible world gets in their way. A world of grudges, and misfortunes, and spells, and curses. Ooh. This is one of Andrea Kramer and David Levithan's lesser known works, but I thought it was really interesting. You don't read about invisibility that much. It may be not like the most spectacular read you'll ever experience, but it's good for summer. The next magical realism book I want to talk about is Burn for Burn by Sayabon Vivian and Jenny Han. I think, again, this is one of their lesser known works. This is the first book in a trilogy. It's essentially about three girls seeking revenge on people. Ex-best friends, boys, stuff like that, and discover that they have some magical powers. Again, this is a really interesting book. I remember there being a twist that I did end up predicting but was still fun. It was a quick read and it's really good for the summer. The next books I want to talk about are fantasy, paranormal, retelling, stuff like that. I kind of grouped them all together. There's only 3, but I grouped them all together because, again, I suck at genreizing books. That's not a word. I made that up. I don't own any of these books because I either read them electronically or borrowed them from the library, but I want to own all of these books. The first one is Unhooked by Lisa Maxwell. This is a twisted Peter Pan retelling that actually came out this year, and it's just so freaking good. It's a little dark, it's a little heavy for summer, but if you are into the fantasy retelling thing, it's fantastic. Couldn't recommend it enough. You don't know who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, you don't really know what the crap is going on. The next book I want to recommend is School Spirits by Rachel Hawkins. This is actually a standalone spin-off of her Hex Hall series. I just really loved this book, almost more than I enjoyed her Hex Hall series. It's really funny and fast-paced. It's about this girl, Izzy, who has magical powers, but she's pretending to be human, and she's going to a human high school. She's investigating these hauntings that are happening around where her and her mom are at the moment. There's some romance, there's some action, it's all really fun. The final book in this category that I want to recommend is Paranormalcy by Kirsten White. This is again another funny, quick read. It's actually the first book in a trilogy about this girl who works at like a paranormal hunting agency. Even if you're tired of the paranormal genre, it's still just a lot of fun. And now I'm going to talk about contemporary books because you can't talk about summer reading without talking about contemporary books. And the first book is Graffiti Moon by Kath Crowley. This whole book takes place in one night and it's about 2 characters who are on the hunt for this artist and they just reminisce on memories and I can't even explain it. I read it a really long time ago and I loved it. I didn't read contemporary at that time. But this made me actually be interested in contemporary novels, which is now my genre to read. The next 2 books are Saving June and Speechless by Hannah Harrington. These both deal with some pretty heavy topics, but they're really amazing, and I'd say Saving June is a little more summery because there is a road trip involved. There is romance in both of these, great narration, great story. I really highly recommend them. Saving June is about a girl whose sister committed suicide and then she takes off on a cross-country trip to go to California where her sister always dreamed of going. Speechless is about a girl who discovered a secret at a party and then told her best friend, and her best friend told people, and somebody got really hurt, so she takes this vow of silence. It's basically about a girl who is struggling to forgive herself for almost getting somebody killed, and she is learning to communicate without actually saying anything. The next book is Virtuosity by Jessica Martinez. This is about a very skilled violinist who is struggling to really feel the love that violin used to bring her, and now she is struggling with anxiety, so she is taking medicine, like pills for it, and she meets a guy who should be her arch enemy because he is her like #1 competition in the violin world. Again, this has some darker topics, but it's really, really interesting and it comes out feeling good. The final book I want to tell you about is Don't Let Me Go by J.H. Trumbull.
Don't let me go. Don't let me go. Don't let me go.
This is one of my favorite books of all time. This is about Nate and Adam, who started dating in high school, who struggled a lot dealing with the homophobia thrown their way, but they believe that they are rock solid. But Adam is off in New York doing an off-Broadway job, and insecurities start nagging at both of them, and their relationship gets really tested, and this is just mostly about Nate coming to terms with who he is. The back of the book says, tender, thoughtful, and unflinchingly real, and I cannot think of a better way to describe this book. Just know that it is so good, and I know that a lot of people do the LGBTQ recommendations, and I don't think I've ever seen this on a list, but it should be, because it's fantastic. Absolutely freaking fantabulosa. So those are the 10 books I have for you for Underhyped summer recommendations. Obviously, I suggest you check every single one of them out because they are really good. Even if they're not like 5-star reads, they're very good summer reads. And I think the people who don't know about those books are missing out. So yeah, if you've read any of these books, tell me what you think. Tell me some of your Underhyped summer reads recommendations. I want to hear about it all. If you liked this video, subscribe so that you can stay updated on everything I post. Give me a thumbs up. Until next time, bye bookish friends!